Welcome to the War Eagle Radio Network for Talons Out Live with head coach Adam Dolan. Talons Out Live takes you in-depth and behind the scenes of the West Carroll War Eagles with stats, comments, and a breakdown of the previous game, plus a look ahead in the schedule. We'll sit down weekly with special guests, players, administration, and the coaches for a look into the locker room. This is Talons Out Live. Welcome one and all to the War Eagle Radio Network, Talons Out Live with Coach Adam Dolan for this Monday, October the 7th. Ready to rock and roll here and talk a little bit about some football. And we welcome everyone. I'm Jonathan Gowan alongside Adam Welch and Coach Adam Dolan. And is this Elvis?
This is Elvis.
This is Elvis. We have Elvis. Elvis is in the house, in the building.
Yep, he's in the building. He's the mayor. He runs the show around here.
He runs the show around that household. Well,
he does.
You may see Chase here in a minute. I don't know. He's my Aussie doodle, so he may come and try to get in the show here in just a little bit. But as always, Coach Dolan, we appreciate you joining us and taking care of business and talking a little bit about the football in the past week and what we got yet to come. So, Adam Welch, how are you tonight, brother?
Great. How are you?
Good. Ready to talk a little bit about some football. And Coach Dolan, I guess hope you had a good weekend and good practice day today, and kind of got things hopefully pointing in the right direction. You doing all right on that side of the field?
Yeah, we're all right. The weekend, going the trip to McEwen didn't go the way we wanted to for a lot of reasons. You lose a football game, but more than that, you got, several of you guys got banged up and, had injuries, not just, there's a difference in being hurt and injured. And we got some guys that got injured, and that was, not a good night for us, until I thought things were going to be okay. I knew it was going to be a close game. We had our game plan, I thought, was very much on offense and defense was in tune with what they do and what they are. And, we had a couple mishaps early, then we kind of fixed that on defense, and I thought we were going to be just fine. We ended up statistically being fine. That score indicates that game was not close, but looking at the stats, it really was. And then, we were at the end of the game. We went for it quite a few times in our own end when, conventional wisdom says you should punt the football there. And there was not really any reason why to punt the ball there. We had to find a way to get something going. And it's just they just needed to go for it there. And gave them some field position. They were able to score with some guys not in the field. But, lose a region game to a team, that, you felt like you could compete with. And I thought we were. And we were until we had the unfortunate, injuries that went down. And, 3 super good kids, super good guys, super, good contributors to our team. You talking about Jaden at one time leading the state in rushing for us. And, Q's made a lot of big plays this season for us on both sides of the football, and being a quarterback and playing every snap on defense, and then special teams and just leadership. And you can't replace those guys. You just got to find a way to, adapt and move on. But, good news was that today, yesterday our coaches meeting, Ben came in and he walked around. We got to talk to him and his folks a little bit, and, try to make sure that his spirits are high and everything. His surgery on his leg was very successful, and he's going to be on the mend recovery here. And then, Q showed up today unexpected at practice, and that was awesome. We went over there and embraced him and checked on him, and he'll be back to school this week. And Jaden was there at school today and at practice too. We don't have an official update on him, but we will probably next week, and we'll go from there. But, they're in good spirits, and that's the most important thing, that they're going to be okay.
And I'm assuming that at least for those 3, going to be out at least next week.
Yeah.
I know you can't really talk, details and things like that, but if you can, like whether, you mentioned the leg for Pruitt, can you mention like upper body, lower body, things like that for the other 2, and kind of what our timeline looks like?
Jaden, it was his leg, and just unfortunate football play. He's running the football, doing his best, and they swarm and make a tackle, and it was just one of those weird situations how it went. And it's a lower body injury, and no, we won't know anything for certain until next week. So he won't be out. He'll be out this week, and we'll just kind of take it week by week with him. Ben is unfortunately out for the season with his leg, and then Q's got an upper body injury, and then and it's not just one thing; it was a couple things. So he's got an upper body injury, and I don't want to say for sure, but I would probably think he's out for the season as well.
Wow, yeah, that's kind of a bummer to hear, and I mean those are every kid is important, but as well as everyone else does, those guys have made some serious strides and serious reps for you in each one of these games, and really come out and kind of showed out and been kind of some all-star playing for our team. And so I mean it's going to be a bummer that they're gone, but also these other guys, it's time for them to shine, time for them to show up, and show us kind of what they've got.
Yeah, I mean, it's adversity also sometimes is the creator of opportunity, and we've talked about that before. And that's kind of this whole season's been an interesting deal. Had a lot of adversity in different ways, not just injuries or the outcome of a game, but other circumstances. And it's just you hate to see your guys get injured. That as teenagers that affects guys sometimes differently than it does other people. I don't want to say the longer you coach, you kind of get not immune to it, or not even just kind of I don't know, not hit by it as much, but you see it more, and knowing that they're going to be okay. Like in the long run, they're all going to be fine. They're going to be fine in whatever they want to do as far as still being an athlete, a student, as a man, they're going to be fine. But as far as the rest of the season goes, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in front of us. This is a huge week. You got Brewston. It's their homecoming. It's a rivalry game. Brewston and West Carroll play every year, close, same kind of community, small hometown. It's a lot to play for. It's a region game. Like there's a lot on the line, a lot at stake. And, West Carroll hasn't lost him in, several years now, and we don't want it to be this year either. So we got a lot of work ahead of us, and we're going to have to change some things up for sure. We got to do what we got to do best for the kids that we've got. We're not going to, fit round pegs and square holes kind of thing, and we'll do what's best for the team as far as positions and playing time and all that kind of good stuff. And we've got to jump on that today. We got to work today on all of that, and I feel like told the guys like we're fully expecting to go over to Brewston and play hard and play with confidence and do what we're supposed to and be physical and attack the football on both sides of the ball, and special teams attack them on offense on the offensive line and how we run it defensively. I fully expect us to go over there and play hard and find a way to win.
Yeah, and like you said, it seems like the Brewston game, whether it's home or away, has always been less than a 1 or 2 touchdown football game, in the end result. And it seems like it's always went kind of back and forth, and always, been a really close game. And I didn't know that we had been the winner of those last several years. So I'll have to go back and look that up and see just how many we have. Maybe I can do that before the end of the show. But Adam, let's go ahead and talk about the McEwen game the other night. Talk a little bit about some of those stats and some of the things that we have come out of that. And I've already pre-warned Adam Welch. I have some cheesy pepperoni pizza roll things in the oven. So the alarm's going off for those now. So I'm going to go do that while y'all talk about some stats right quick, and I'll mute my mic and just let y'all handle that.
Good. Thanks, Jonathan. Some stats from the McEwen game. You look at the passing yards, West Carroll with 32, McEwen with 31. West Carroll 5 out of 11 in the air with 1 interception. McEwen 2 out of 3 with 1 interception. Total offensive plays, 45 for West Carroll for 141 yards. McEwen 30 offensive plays for 201 yards. Some other things we look at: penalties, West Carroll with 5, penalties for 29 yards. McEwen 8 penalties for 76 yards. First downs, West Carroll 8, McEwen 7. Individual leaders for West Carroll, Jaden Milton with 9 carries for 82 yards. Mason Taylor, 3 carries, 48 yards. Zach Haynes, 5 carries for 12 yards. And Ben Pruitt, 5 carries for 7 yards. For McEwen, Kanan Gill, 6 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dalton Williams, 8 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown. Landon Davis, 6 carries for 4 yards. And Jesse Ross, 6 carries for 14 yards. Receiving for West Carroll, Mason Taylor, 3 catches for 9 yards. Zach Fowler, 1 catch for 15 yards. And Jace Hammett, 1 catch for 8 yards. For McEwen, Zeke Harrington had 1 catch for 21 yards, and Kanan Gill had 1 catch for 10 yards. Coach, we look at this game. We knew it was going to be a very hostile environment. You told me that going in. You knew it was going to be a different environment going into this. Talk about the adversity you faced early, how the kids responded. Talk about some of the things McEwen did. Did they catch you off surprise or by anything that they did, or was it just something pretty standard that you pretty much expected and it kind of came more down to execution, I guess?
They took the ball, first went down, scored, and that whole drive was a litany of things that we did wrong from a leverage standpoint, allowing them to get the trap up under us, which is an inside run play that we've worked on all week. And we didn't play it right, and we played it wrong a few times, but it got better. We got better at it as the night went on. I think the speed of it hit faster than what we'd seen in practice. We just couldn't practice it the way we need to. And we just didn't get that taken care of. We cleaned that up as the game went on, but we know that we just did some things that that we could have made. We could have done better from an execution standpoint. So that's right. Then we come out on offense and go down the field and score. They played us at times exactly like we thought, and then they later on in the game when we had some guys get injured, they did a lot of things that were vastly different. They just knew it was hard for us to do a lot of things, and they kind of just sold out and sent 6 and 7 guys, knowing we couldn't throw the ball and protect it long enough, and not having a lot of options out on the perimeter to throw it to. And they knew that, and they took advantage of it just like most coaches would. I mean, it was totally fine. But, you heard that, Jaden had close to 100 yards. He had that in a quarter. I fully expected him to have another big game, us running the ball.
Yeah.
And we lost 3 defensive starters. They're not just offensive guys, 3 defensive starters too.
That's right. Yeah.
And that contribute a lot. And, still at the end of the game, that they truthfully, and their last couple touchdowns, okay, I'll give it to them. But, man, there's some people in the field in some spots that hadn't played any significant time for us, and we gave them the ball on the 20. So
sure.
That score, people have asked me this weekend about, are they that much better? Like, they're good. They're not a bad 1A team at all. They're physical and they play hard, and their offense puts you in a bind because you don't see that offense quite a bit, and they do some things that are different for sure. Defensively, I thought when we had all our pieces out there, we had everybody out there for one drive, and we went and scored on that one drive. So, it's just tough when we lose a guy. It's just so much harder for us to replace him, whoever it is. And, when you lose 3 like that, it's tough. I don't know if we would have won the game, but it would have been a whole lot closer, and we would have definitely had a chance to do it, just the way we got better as the defense as the game went on. But defensively, I think they did play they did some different things to us at some different times. They played us differently in some formations that we had seen that we liked to run against them. So that was, something they did different. Now, offensively, no, they did exactly what they had. And they had a week off before we did, at the same time we did. And that's a new coaching staff over there. And, more time working on what they had to do. And they come out and didn't surprise us really or anything like that. They were clean. They executed really well on the O-line. I think they figured out what they wanted to do on the O-line. They had been moving a few pieces around. They got a very important kid back. Number 84 had been injured. He's back. He is a monster of a kid who's a sophomore, who's a tight end, played D tackle for them. He's a good player. 88, really good player who was really good last year, and we knew about that. So, no, not a lot. Just we kind of messed up some on defense early. Other than that, it was just, we had all the injuries come, and it was just trying to figure out what we could do with what we had and what they had actually at least practiced a little bit to where we could go get out of the game with it. But, sometimes that kind of stuff happens. It bees that kind of way, as they say. So, no, just I thought they were pretty much what we thought they kind of were. It just I wish we could have, played them at full strength, because I don't think that result does not happen.
Yeah. And that leads kind of to my next question. With the 3 players out, and as far as when all that occurred early in the first half, talk about how hard it was to, quote unquote, reinvent the wheel quickly.
Yeah.
In your case, as far as not only for that game, but as you've got practice this week with 3 less players and trying to prepare for Brewston now.
Yeah, I mean, basically you've got a call sheet, of plays, and they're on the wristband, and when basically like this, your starting running back goes out, who gets a lot of carries and a lot of attention because he's a really good player, and we've had a lot of success with him running the football. Well, the starting quarterback gets hurt. Well, the backup quarterback is one of your best receivers. You got to move him in there. Yeah. Your other receiver that you throw it to the most, like 90% of our targets this year have went to Patterson and Fowler. And now Fowler has, he can't throw it to himself. And Q's out, Milton's out, and Mason has to go play another spot that he plays. But now the spot that he left, who goes into there? Right. And,
dominoes.
It's just a balance snap. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's just tough. So, specific game plan things. We had a lot in the play, or the game plan for Q and Zach on the perimeter in the passing game. Well, that's completely out the window now. And then the things specifically we wanted to do with Jaden, well, that's out the window. And now things that we could run with Ben at quarterback is out the window. And now it's just tough. It's really tough. And
it is.
We were limited, and there were some times we still got them on some things. We had some chances to move the ball ways, and it's because we still have some good players. We have good players in other places. We still have a good offensive line. We're a little nicked up on the O-line a little bit, but we're going to be okay. And they're physical, and we're physical, and we had some things there in the run game. It's just, when you got 7 or 8 to block 9 or 10, it doesn't take a mathematician to understand that doesn't work sometimes. Just because we didn't have a threat to throw it. Now, we'll develop a way to do some things like that. It's just we got to move some pieces around and practice and get reps and get that going. And we started that today, and I think we've got a good plan. I think we got something that fits us, and something that we can do going forward. And it maybe is just not a week by week thing. We might add or tinker with it, but I think it's going to fit us going forward. And it's going to look different, I think, but I think it's what we need to do right now. And I think after we get settled in, it'll make sense.
Well, and talk about Mason Taylor and Zach Haynes, and now how their development going forward is crucial now with how active they're going to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see the ABCs of it. They're going to have to run the football more. Well, that affects us defensively. That affects us special teams wise, because Zach has been able to have a really good season on defense because he hasn't had to play as many snaps on offense. And we try to spell Mason at times on offense so he never comes off the field on defense. Well, now it's kind of like, do they ever come off the field?
Yeah.
And, Jace is in that boat already, and now Trendon Kirby's going to have to play a lot more on offense, and he's played a ton of snaps here lately on defense and getting better each week. So, we're still in the backfield. You're going to have to figure that out. Like, now what do we do in the case that is, we need, a spell for whoever. Our O-line is still pretty healthy, so we're okay there. But it's just we're going to have to make sure that we're putting our guys in the best position to be successful for the plays that we're calling and what their skill sets are. And luckily, this is the truth of it. Zach played quarterback. He played it all last year. Zach has played running back for us the last 2 years, so it's not foreign to him to be back there. He just hasn't done it as much because, Jaden's been kind of the guy. Mason has been repping that spot too. He's been doing and that's kind of what we talked about, a month and a half ago. A lot of this, even in June and July, we started repping several guys that play in several positions in the event of this happening. And now, unfortunately, it's here. And, hopefully some of that time that these guys have gotten other spots is going to help us out to finish the season. But it still comes down to knowing what you're doing and executing and being really, really physical. Mason is talented. Zach is talented. Trendon and Jace, they're all talented. They've all done positive things this season. So I think a lot of people are more worried about it than I am. Like, I think it's an opportunity for guys to go out there and grow and get better, and we'll go fight and compete, and that's the expectation. It doesn't matter who's on the field. Whatever 11's on the field, they better go fight and scratch and claw, because that's what we're going to do.
Did you feel like that McEwen's, as far as how they was able to run the football with Ross, Williams, Gill, and Davis, did you feel like they just kept pounding at you and pounding away?
That's what they do. I had every film of the season of them. They were 88% of the time they were going to run the football in every snap of the season up till our game. So that is not uncommon for them a bit. They've just gotten better at executing that offense. That head coach got the job in July. That offensive coordinator's been retired for like 15 years, and they brought him out of retirement. He's kind of a local guy over there. His offense is a blast from the past, if you will, and it just takes more time for those guys to get, weathered and seasoned to what they're doing. And they were definitely faster at what they did than they were 2 weeks ago on film. And a lot of those things hit quicker than I thought they would. They were a little bit more crisp, and you could tell they worked it. So, kudos to them. They're playing to their strength, man. They got a lot of long active athletes over there. They play physical and hard. Now, I think there's some things that defensively we were going to be fighting against them on offense. I thought it was going to be a game where there's going to be some points scored, and it might have been the first one to 30 win that game. And unfortunately, it was them, but I thought it was going to be something like that, And, I really thought we'd win that game. I'm telling you, if we played on a neutral site and we're healthy, they're healthy, and we played 10 times, I think we get them 6 or 7. I do. I believe that. So it's unfortunate that, they got this one, but it is what it is.
I'm going to name off 2 or 3 players again, and I want you to tell me their role in as few words as possible, or as detailed as you want, as far as going forward playing Brewston now, as far as having to reinvent the wheel a little bit, as we've talked about, and how quickly they're going to have to grow within 4 days. This timing of this, I know, probably couldn't have come in any worse, having to do this in a 4-day span. But Trendon Kirby.
Oh, Trendon's played a lot here lately, but he's going to have more on his plate. He's going to have to learn more about offense quickly.
Yeah. Jace Hammett.
He's just got to keep doing what he's doing and grow as a leader. He's got those capabilities. We just got to hone that in and doing it the right way all the time. But he plays hard. I'm not worried about Jace. He's got a big role this week, and I expect him to do well.
Zach Haynes.
Just like Trendon, going to see him a lot on offense. It's going to be a test of his condition. I believe he's in great shape. He's played really hard and done a lot of good things for us on defense. And he's just got to get comfortable. He's got to find some comfortable things and roles on offense and play hard like he does. And I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to be a huge bright spot for us.
Nigel Butler.
Find a way to take the fourth quarter from McEwen and apply it to every snap of the game.
That's all I've got, Jonathan, on that, but I do have a couple more. As we go forward toward Brewston, it's as Jonathan's already mentioned, this game every year is always very intense. You come into it, as we've already talked about, we know banged up. I don't know Brewston's health status, honestly, but I know they always seem like they give us a fight. going into this game, is it something that you're hoping that you can there's not going to have obviously be a lot of scouting. I don't think that Brewston's going to be able to do, because we're going to be a totally different team, obviously, than what they've seen all year with 3 players out. So it's going to be something different for us. But talk about what you expect from Brewston as far as some of the things that they're going to do.
Yeah, offensively for us, it's we got some core principles, and what we do on the O line is a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it. So we just can't scrap all that. Like our rules and the way we count boxes and the way we block things, that just doesn't go away. We just got to, we got to do it a little differently now. And how we do it is going to look different, I guess. But to them on the O-line, it doesn't change very much. There's going to be a few things it does, but not a lot. Defensively is where the changes come, more so. We're going to have to change the way we, play some things. It's not different. It's different for our guys, but it doesn't really change a lot of their teaching and their principles. It's just going to look different. It's just going to be different pieces out there, and more people haven't played both ways. And that's just part of it. We haven't. It's not like that's new. So it's just going to take our guys getting comfortable in some roles that they haven't been in. But we're going to really try not to ask them to do things they're not capable of doing. And that's the main thing, is you've got to do enough to where you feel like you got enough, bullets in the holster kind of thing on both sides of the ball. But you also can't overload them with information and doing what you're doing. You can't let them play slow because they're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fine line that you got to balance. And that's tough to do, like you said, in 4 days. So it's a challenge that I think our guys are going to be fine for. Like, they're up for. Like, it's going to be okay. Brewston's they're going to throw everything you got at them, and they're going to be jazzed up. It's their homecoming. It's going to be emotional for them. They always come out fighting, swinging, and playing hard and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fine. We've got to be, we've got to have a lot of emotional stability early. If they jab us and jab us and jab us early, we got to take it and fight back. And the same thing with about that. If we get on them early, having the composure to know that they're going to fight back and claw into it too. So it's just knowing that the first quarter might be completely different than the third quarter kind of thing, emotionally. So
emotionally.
You got to stay, kind of have that stability emotionally. And that's tough. We've battled that for years now with older guys. Now we're battling with younger guys, but we have gotten better with that. I think there's a lot of people, a lot of things that could have, a lot of people would have folded that tent come the third and fourth quarter without, some of those guys out. And, it's physical and you're getting hit in the face and it's tough, but man, we didn't quit. I was very proud of that. We fought, we played, and we bowled her back on defense times, and we did some things with people in spots that they'd never done. And you just, that's just part of it. But that's a lot of football character. And if you got football character, you can go through some adversity and get things on the other side of it. So as far as Brewston goes, I think the new coaching staff is doing a good job over there. They're throwing the football. They're probably going to throw it more than anybody we've seen. They're going to empty out the formation some. They're going to play with one back or no back some. Sometimes they'll play with two. But they're kind of wide open on offense. They're going to throw it around a little bit. Defensively, they attack you. They line up a lot of different ways. They pressure and send a lot of, blitzes at you and, try to force you to make mistakes. They're not sitting back,
Yeah.
So, a little bit different than us. Defensively, we're more, read and react. We're very base, or as far as rules and our eye discipline, and we're kind of different in that regard. And then offensively, we're a little bit different in that regard too. We don't just throw it a ton, and I don't know how much we're going to throw it going forward, but I expect them. They'll all be up there ready to stop the run, and we're going to have to figure out a way to, move the football and find a way to get some points on the board, because they're going to score some points. They've scored points on people. They've given up points on people. They play, their offense and defense match each other, which tells me that, they've got a plan. They do. And that's always the thing, is your offense and defense need to match each other, and just meaning from a schematic standpoint. So we're in for a fight. I know they're going to be, this is going to be a big opportunity for them, so they got to feel like, if they can win this game and beat Perry County, they're going to the playoffs. So we win this game, we're for sure in the playoffs. So it's a big game, a lot on it, and it's a region game, homecoming, all that stuff. There's a lot that goes with it. I just hope that if we can stay emotionally stable and just know that there's ebbs and flows, ups and downs to this, and just keep fighting and just be physical, we'll be fine.
So I've done my research real quick, and the last 2 years have actually called me a liar, because we talked about 1 to 2 touchdown game. So went all the way back to 2017. 2017 was the last time that Brewston beat West Carroll 14-0. 2018 was West Carroll winning 17-16. 19 was 34-28 with a win. So, I mean, that you could tell both of those were pretty close. We did not play Brewston in 2020. 2021 was an 18-12 victory. And here's where the last 2 years have called me a liar. 2022 was a 50-20 victory for West Carroll, and last year was a 54-0 win for West Carroll. So the last 5 meetings in these 6 years, West Carroll has come out on top. And like I said, the last time was in 2017 that Brewston come out on top 14-0. So, but it still always seems like it's one of those back and forth games, even if one team or the other kind of jumps out and in the middle of the game or something kind of gets away from the other team. But it still seems like it's from the jump, it's always been kind of a rivalry, I guess, for lack of better terms, between West Carroll and Brewston.
It sets up as a natural rivalry. You're 25 minutes down the road. You're about the same kind of size school. You're going to be in the same, classification. There's been, history in both places. Patrick Willis was in the Hall of Fame. I played against him. What a great player he was at Brewston. And they've had great players before him, and after him. So that town revolves around, football for that high school, and it's true. And that's awesome. I love that. And I love playing against them. I remember playing Adrian Jameson, Patrick Willis, and all those guys. They were really good players, and they were really rolling back then. And then now, the last couple of years, you're right. We kind of got on them. That deal last year, we really love that. I love seeing that 0 in the the point column for them. Yeah, we got on them really, really well last year, and that's the thing. Like our guys, we got a lot of guys on our team that know and remember that. They do remember that. So. And even the year before, we played them in the first game this year, and that score wasn't indicative. That game was not that close. They kind of scored late there. Anyway, it don't matter. But our guys, I just don't think they, I don't know if this is, something I should say or not say, but if I think those guys over there feel like it's more of a rivalry for them right now, just because they haven't won lately. And, our guys that are on the high school team, they've never lost to them in high school. Now, middle school, they may have and stuff like that. But, they haven't really been a threat to us in high school. So I don't know if they feel the same. And that's okay. That's natural. That happens in some places. But once the game starts and you get through a drive or two, that emotion of that kind of stuff goes away. And you're playing off of what you're supposed to be doing based off what you practiced and what your game plan is and what your rules are and what your habits are. And all that stuff goes out the window. So survive, the first couple of drives and get down to the meat and potatoes of what that game's going to be. And, I feel like we'll be okay. The numbers are what they are, but, we'll have a plan and we'll go out there and execute and play as hard as we can. We execute well. Like I said earlier, I fully expect us to find a way to get a win.
Coach, go ahead and give me your 3 keys to victory. That's the final question.
Yeah. In any order, I would say, number one, we got to play a clean game offensively. And not that we haven't played clean in ways. We had some penalties last week just because of, people not in certain places. But, if we can limit the turnovers to, 1 turnover or less, limit the offensive penalties to, nothing pre-snap or post-snap. I've said that all year. I'm a big believer in that. Sometimes you'll get a holding call or something like that. But, possessing the football, one of our, we've got to hold the ball longer on offense. Jaden rip off big runs here and there as long as it comes with points, that's okay. But, if we can limit and the mistakes and the turnovers and play clean on offense. Number one, that's huge. Number two, I would say, again, defensively, we're going to have guys asked to do a lot of different things. It's going to be about our eye discipline. And I guess I'm a geek for saying that. People laugh at me when I say eye discipline, like that's a football thing. It is. If our eyes are where they're supposed to be, we're going to be okay on defense. If we're looking at what we're supposed to and knowing where we're supposed to be based off of what we see, then I think we'll be okay. And when we've done that this year, we have been fine. It's just when our eyes go to something else and we don't trust what we're doing, sometimes that's when you make a mistake. And we've got to find a way to fix our eyes. And then third is just can we make a play on special teams to change a game? Can we block a punt? Can we get a big return? If we score 4 touchdowns, can we go 4-4 on 2-point conversions? That's an extra touchdown.
Yeah.
So, that's a huge thing for us. Like, can we be really clean on special teams? We don't have to be, the best around, but we just can't lose the game on special teams. And those are our keys always. I think if you want to add one that's special in this week is, find a way on defense, to pressure the quarterback. They throw it a lot. We've got to affect the quarterback. And, is that going to be linebackers blitzing, D linemen making play, doing what they're supposed to, a combination of that? We've got to affect him. And, they throw it quite a bit and they're talented. They got some receivers that can play. Their quarterback does a good job. So, we've got to affect that. We've got to find a way to get them in situations where we know that they're passing football. If they're able to run the football effectively, and we've got to know we don't really they could be running it right here or they could be throwing it, and they've got all those options open to them. That's when it's going to be harder on us. If we can get them in a situation where we know for sure that it's one thing, then our chances of success go up a lot.
All right. Well, sounds like that's a plan. Here's Chase, by the way. He come to visit. So
I like it.
Right. So Adam, where's your dog? We've had
right?
2 other dogs in here, so we need another one. So
my other dog, he can't get my lap. That would not feel good. I couldn't hold him very long. He's a lot bigger than Elvis. So
Chase has already got up to about 33 pounds, so that's a lapful. It's a big one. So
my other dog Ronan, he's about 75 pounds.
Oh no!
Oh.
No, that would not be a lap dog. I'm sure he tries more than
he thinks he's a lap dog is the problem. He sees the little one in the lap and he thinks he needs to be in the lap, and it gets to be a mess. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and he's like laying on you. It's like the little one won't do it, the big one does do it. It's like I don't understand. But
yeah. Well, there's plenty of things for everybody to go cheer for. You can probably just go ahead and pitch a tent in Brewston, because the junior high basketball has got a game at Brewston tomorrow night, and then we go to Brewston on Friday night for football. And I know there's probably still some volleyball, and there's some baseball and soffball.
Yeah, volleyball's in tournament mode now. I think they played Madison. Pretty sure they played Madison in the tournament. They've had a lot better season. They're getting a lot better. I know Coach Doles and them are doing a good job with that. And, middle school basketball starting up, Coach Mansfield and Coach Dixon and their squads and getting rolling on that. They've played 3 or 4 games already. So they're rolling right along. And then also I'd like to, very proud to think, we had some, hour and 20, 30-minute drive. We had good support at McEwen.
There was a lot of folks there. That was really good.
I was happy to see that. And our kids always appreciate that. They really do. Knowing that they got the support behind them. And, I feel like we'll take a good crowd over to Brewston, and they'll have a good crowd. It's their homecoming. There's a lot of families that know each other from back and forth. We got kids that have played for our team that are playing for them now and stuff like that. So there's always that component of it. But, we've brought up some 8th graders. We're going to have some names and numbers that are going to be added to the roster. And, last week we had one 8th grader. He played literally from the second quarter on every snap on defense the rest of the game. And he's going to be asked to do that all game this week as an 8th grader. And it's just how it is. And it's only going to make him and the other guys that we've got come up better.
Speaking of that, give me that list if you can, so we can add that to add that to our full roster there.
I'm waiting on a couple others to get up and make sure we get them and get everything ready to go on that. But the fact that we have our middle school on the same campus as our high school, you're allowed to do that. So a lot of schools do that. We're going to have to do it too. We've done it in basketball the last couple of seasons. We've had guys and girls that played up after their middle school season. So, and it's been great. Those kids have come out and done a great job so far, and Coach Bain and, all those guys have done a good job of getting them ready. And Coach Duggan was out there today at practice, and that continuity between, hopefully building on middle school to high school and having that continuity between each is really good. So it's not a different world when they come up, and it shouldn't be. We're in the same building. They see us every day. So we're looking to continue to build that relationship with all those guys. And, I just, hope that everyone understands, we're in a situation we don't want to be in, but I tell our guys all the time, no one's going to feel sorry for us. No coach on the other side, no players on their side. They just care about what's that scoreboard say. And our guys come Friday night are going to care about what that scoreboard says. So, keep supporting our guys. They need it. They want it. They're going to play hard. We're just going to continue to get better at what we're doing and keep building this thing. And, it doesn't matter. I don't even know how many we're going to have dressed come Friday night. It'll probably be less than 20, maybe 21, maybe with the 8th graders, but be some new faces out there for sure. So it's going to be an opportunity for guys to step up. And I told the guys today when we met and got ready to get to practice that I fully expect 1 or 2 guys on our team will play the best game of their life come Friday night. And because it's time for some of them and we need it. So I'm ready for it.
One other thing I want to mention too, your band is a big supporter at all these football games, especially the home games. And they got to show their talents on Saturday at Huntington. They come away with second place drum major and first place in percussion in the Class 2A at the Huntington competition, and then they'll be going to Gibson County next Saturday, the 19th. So go out and support all of these kids. Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, in the band, everything. You need to get out there and support these kids, and they're all giving their heart and giving their talents, their God-given talents, and putting them on display for everybody. So get out there and support them. You don't have to have a kid in the band or a kid in the football team or whatever to go out there and just give them that support. So, but like we said, there was a really good showing at McEwen the other night from the fans, and I think it'll be the same thing again Friday night again at Brewston. So, well, I think that's about
the thing. I'm ready for some football weather, and so are our players. So it's supposed to be maybe in the 60s at kickoff, and boy, we need it, and I'm ready for it.
It'll definitely cool it off a little bit, but. So, all right. Well, I reckon if that's all we've got and all we got to take care of for this, don't forget, go out there and support each and every one of these different kinds of activities and stuff for these kids, from the football to the band, the basketball, everything. And then on Friday night, we'll be going to Brewston, as we said, Hometown Grocery Daily pregame show at 6:30 and the kickoff at 7 o'clock. So get out there and support the kids, support the West Carroll community, and let's see if we can come away with the 6th victory in a row at Brewston. Sound like a plan, don't it?
We're gonna definitely go there. Sure.
Give it a shot. So, all right. Well, that'll do it for Talons Out Live for this Monday. On behalf of Adam Dolan, Adam Welch, I'm Jonathan Gown, and we will talk to you Friday night from Brewston on the War Eagle Radio Network.